But I do it all the time, I guess. Just going through Norm montages on YouTube. He's just such a prolific joke writer. Like just so many jokes that like these Norm montages that just pop up. 30 minutes of Norm here, an hour of Norm there. It's like you just sit there watching the whole thing.
He had an amazing ability too. We were just watching that Jon Stewart crocodile hunter clip.
I wanted to talk about the crocodile hunter because I think it was tragic at the time, but I think I don't know. People call him and then they're shocked. Oh, hey, you wouldn't believe it. Who got killed? The crocodile hunter. Please don't make me laugh at this. And they were like, he was 44 years old. I'm like, that's a ripe old age for a crocodile hunter.
He was really conversationally funny. Like the joke didn't have to end until he seemed to want it to end.
Yes.
Like he just kept, like, it was funny too. And I was watching thinking the balls to do that. Like Jon Stewart is like, okay, like, because he's laughing, but he's like, all right, he was only 90. And Norm's like, hey, Bill. And he's just he's still doing the characters. Like he's not ready for it to be finished.
Yeah. He didn't care about getting the laugh in the room sometimes, especially on those TV shows. Obviously on stage, but like in the room, he didn't necessarily care if people weren't going with him. That's the way he always was. I mean, if you go back to those Weekend Update montages of Frank Stallone jokes, like some of them land real hard, but some of them don't land at all.
According to the EPA, it will cost an estimated $295 million to clean up toxic waste at the former Lockheed Martin military aircraft plant in California. The cause of the toxic waste? You guessed it, Frank Stallone. In economic news, unemployment figures rose slightly for the month of October, with declines in the Dow Jones and NASDAQ. The reason for the sudden downturn? You guessed it, Frank Stallone.
And you could clearly see on his face, like all these jokes are just for him.
Yeah, he didn't care.
He didn't care. And they're hilarious. Like, I don't know exactly when the bit is from, but it seems like he probably wrote the bit right around when he first got the diagnosis, because like this, I didn't even know the bit existed, to tell you the truth. But people were passing it around yesterday of him talking about how men used to be able to just get sick and die, and now they have to wage a war against cancer.
Yeah.
And it's like he probably wrote that.
That was 2001 or 2011. So yeah, probably
as he got diagnosed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure if the cancer dies, I mean, if you die, the cancer also dies at exactly the same time. So that, to me, is not a loss, that's a draw. That's you know what I mean? It's not like the cancer's going to jump up and go, Uncle Bert's wife, where is he? I won fair and square.
The cancer died at the same time. That's not a loss. That's a draw.
He would go on these talk shows and do like old man jokes.
Yeah.
And they were long.
Yeah.
Like when he went on Conan O'Brien and did the moth joke.
Yeah.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office. Right?
You are correct.
And it took 4 minutes to get there, and the punchline is it's a joke punchline. But he liked it. He just loved the joke so much that he was getting through it, and he gets there, and it's like, it's worth it.
And so the doctor says, Moth, man, you're troubled. But you should be seeing a psychiatrist. Why on earth did you come here? And then the moth said, because the light was on.
The ability to do that and to not panic and to not bail out and to commit to it and go, this is what I'm doing, and that's it.
I found, as I was looking at clips, it seemed like his 3 favorite topics on Weekend Update were OJ, obviously Frank Stallone, and Vince Foster, and making jokes about Clinton murdering Vince Foster.
And veteran news anchorman David Brinkley apologized to Bill Clinton for an election night commentary in which he called the president, quote, boring and uncreative. Admitted Brinkley, There was certainly nothing uncreative about the way you moved Vince Foster's body. The president's a murderer. You didn't know that?
Here's another O.J. joke from Weekend Update.
In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you.
Relentless.
Yeah, it really is. The beauty of Norm is there is nothing underlying. It's just about the joke.
It's just about being funny.
You know, that's it. What's the funniest thing for this moment?
Yep.
This is what it is.
He hated what was going on in comedy as far as
Ah,
people being punished. And I mean, he really hated it.
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the one time that he actually started to get in trouble was because he was defending Louis and he was defending Roseanne.
And Shane.
And he
Shane
defended
Gillis,
Shane. Yep,
big,
yes.
big, yeah.
Yep, big time defender of Shane. Because he got it. Because he's like, we're telling jokes here. What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, he was really furious about that. Yeah, it's terrible. Just terrible.
He spent a lot of time being funny, though.
Oh, it's fucking
He
hilarious.
put a lot of funny out there.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anybody with a similar delivery or a similar, like, it's completely unique. He's a completely unique thinker and just a completely unique joke teller, joke writer.
If you try to do a Norm joke, it's like, it's not funny when anybody else does it. And it's because they're not, I mean, he's a genius.
It's natural.
Yes.
It's completely natural. It's completely, you don't watch it for a second thinking this is not who this guy is. You watch it and go, this is completely natural for him to tell a joke this way or to talk this way. That's why he could end a joke when he wanted to, because he seemed so comfortable and natural that, all right, whenever he says it's done, it's done.
You were with him you were on the dais for the Bob Saget
Yes, I
roast
was.
of Comedy Central.
Yep.
And that's one of those instances where, of course, it's like, oh, I can't wait. Norm's going to be so outrageous. Norm's just going to say stuff that you could never say on TV. And then he gets up there
hilarious.
and he just does
Old man
jokes.
No, but Bob has a beautiful face, like a flower. Yeah, cauliflower. No offense, but your face looks like a cauliflower.
Yeah. I believe his joke about you was that you're a very colorful person. Because you have a yellow belly and you're green with envy. And that was it. Like, there was no follow. It's like, that's the joke.
And Jim Norton of here is, of course, probably one of the most colorful characters I've ever met. Colorful personalities I know. You're green with envy and you have a yellow streak down your back.
One of his jokes about Geraldo was like, I'd love to have Geraldo's brain. Not because he's smart, but because it's very unused. Like, thanks.
But if I ever need a brain transplant, well, I would choose yours, Greg, and here's why. It's not because you're smart. It's because your brain has never been used. No, but Greg Giraldo, I'm just joking him. He has the grace of a swan, the wisdom of an owl, and the eye of an eagle. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is for the birds.
Man's for the birds.
I was sitting there like all day yesterday, just stopping. Jess is like taking care of the kids. And I'm like, Jess, there's another Norm joke. Because I'm looking at YouTube. And I'm like, all right, Jess, this was another one of Norm's jokes. This is from Weekend Update, like in the 90s. All summer, Better Than Ezra was the #1 band in America. The #2 band, Ezra.
And in music news, #1 on the college charts this summer was Better Than Ezra. And at #2, Ezra. According to a controversial new biography, Elizabeth Taylor, like...
You see a bunch of clips were going around. You see the clip of him on The View from like really early on. It was from like 2000. It was when the View was at its early stages.
No, I don't think so.
It's fucking great. I think I tweeted it, Travis, if that's the quickest way. I don't know. To find just the clip. Yeah, that's it.
See, I think we should get the homicide out of the White House and get like a fresh start, because we don't want any more murderers.
I think we should just go on to the next question.
Oh.
Who are the murderers?
Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
You're not allowed to put out no accusations without.
That's a little too far.
That's the way it does work.
Let's just go on to the next question.
Yeah.
This is not my week. What can I tell you?
Oh, it's not mine either, and I'm being very nice, okay? Be a good boy. Now, Norm.
Do you never hear that?
We don't need
I don't want to get into this, and I don't want to hear it, and this is not the place to make those accusations, and you're supposed to be funny. Let's get on to the next question. So get with it.
There you go.
See right there, like
is a
no,
live show.
he's not angry about it.
No.
Like he doesn't like what great instincts, man. Like not mad, like what? He's just having a great time. He
Like-
always looked like he was having a great time.
Like he's almost too dumb to realize what did I say? I thought we were all
just having fun.
What? You didn't know? He's like, you didn't hear that?
And the wind finally dies down, and he goes, "What? You didn't hear that?"
Listen how he follows it up.
This is a live show.
Not for nothing,
Why?
Norm, but you have been properly chastised by Barbara, so I'm now going to ask the next
I
question.
thought it was a matter of record.
Okay.
Let me do this.
There are people that after they got invited to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, maybe I can get in with the Clintons now.
Right.
Maybe I can meet these powerful friends. Maybe I can." 2.5 years after the Correspondents'
That's right.
Dinner, he's going on The View and making jokes.
Clinton murdered somebody.
He murdered a guy.
Doesn't care. I thought it was a matter of record.
He thought Barbara's problem was that Barbara hadn't.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear.
Yeah,
You didn't know?
that she was ignorant, and he was just bringing her up to speed.
Just informing her. Did you see the clip that was going around of him on Conan O'Brien with Courtney Thorne-Smith?
I don't know.
This, I feel like this Courtney Thorne-Smith clip is somewhat similar to the Patrice Fox News clip.
This is just what she has to say. We are outraged and
Oh,
fired and
he's a fool.
fired
He's an
and
absolute
fired.
fool.
Name calling. I'm outraged.
Fool.
I am outraged.
You should be. You should be.
I am a fool. Now, if I called you a fool,
In the sense that this just has become one of those legendary, like, this is the example
Yeah.
of why you would have this guy on your talk show and why he doesn't care. Courtney Thorne-Smith is on Conan O'Brien with Norm. Norm was the first guest. And he's, unfortunately for her,
Decided to stick around.
he stuck around on the couch for her interview. Yes, and she's trying to promote her
Who
movie.
is she?
But what's the movie going to be called?
Well, I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
She's there.
There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh, all right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
His face after he does
Dude,
it.
he's delighted. Again, just perfect timing.
Yeah, that's the other thing you don't want to do, right? Just say Norm jokes.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to yeah.
Although it's funny. He's one of those guys where just saying his jokes, they are well written enough
Yes.
where it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the appeal too. That
Yeah.
like especially some of his jokes, you can just take and like